Hey, it's Dan Razor, and now we're on to Area 6, Magridd's Castle. So we just cleared out Leo's lab, which is Area 5, and now let's go on to that castle. So let's move on. Literally, using the move option, going north to the castle. I will suggest if you don't have an herb and you feel comfortable, again, go to Area 1 to that tool shop owner and get an herb from that section. So, here we're going to finally get the weapon to defeat spirits, the spirit sword. Yeah, pretty hard to guess what it did. But no. So you'll see this little area here. I'm going to walk past it. If you accidentally go too far, don't worry. You'll be able to defeat the enemy just with a little bit of... You might be like, oh no, that thing's coming over with it as well. So I'm going to equip the spirit sword and step in this area and go down a little bit further just so those things aren't attacking. So the way they work is kind of in a mesh, like squares, like 2 by 2, and there's spots that you can stand in where they won't hurt you at all. So that's what we're doing there. So here's another safe spot you can do. I'm just lined up one tile to the left of that layer and just backing up right there. So if you want, you can do it there. You can also go from this spot as well. Either way is fine. They're just going to defeat themselves. And just so you know, they do not teleport, they're just turning invisible. So, after that, I like to switch to the Zantetsu sword, just so I can swing at the next enemies coming up. And now we're in floor 2 of the basement. And those enemies on the right, don't need to worry about them. These two, you can take them out at a distance if you want, just to be safe. And then we have some more of these spirits. Now, if you want, you can just try to take them in a safe spot. You can see I wasn't quite in that one square, so they're just going back and forth across me, which is not good. If you're at the spot where they do turns, they'll just teleport on and off, blink in and out, right on top of you. So, not a good time. So, we're going to go this way instead. So, noticed earlier we picked up that harp string. We'll need it for that section coming up. So I'm just going to walk right through that. It's a good way to do that damage free. Just walk straight up. And then we're going to get this strange bottle to give us more gems as we go. And we grab this medical herb as well. And for safety, you don't have to do it, but it can be helpful. Go over here to get 100 more gems. Usually we skip it when we're doing a lot of runs because at this point in the game, the enemies are dropping a lot more for gems. The higher you are in area, the more likely enemies are going to drop better stuff. So, and that's one way I showed there of defeating that enemy, those orbs. If you defeat them from a distance, they won't move. So if you are not comfortable walking through those spikes or whatever else, do it that way. Because those spikes, as you can see, do a lot of damage. Or those spears. Come up here, and we can defeat these just with some light arrows. If you want, you can move up, and they'll come in and slash, but leave that for another video. We do need to get this one released because it opens up the next dungeon for us, which is the left tower. And then over here, I'll get us the shortcut so we can keep going. Going on through here. Now, if I'm taking things safer, that's because, yes, I was trying to make it so then it's more accessible. Because your first run, you're probably going to be taking things safe, and that is completely fine. So there I switched to the Zantetsu sword so I can swing and hit the enemies. Now, going over here, in any of these spirit layers, you can just stand to the tile diagonally adjacent to that layer, and they'll just circle around and just go like this and defeat themselves. There are faster ways to do it, but that's for another video. So right after that, I'm going to equip the Zantetsu sword, de-equip the light armor, and equip the strange bottle, prepping for a death warp. Now, you don't have to do it that way. The reason I de-equip that stuff is just so then it gives me a little bit easier of a time. Just to get... helps go a little bit faster, less hits from the enemies. If you don't want to do that, that's fine too. But you just want to make sure you equip that strange bottle, because now we have 147 gems that we can use for the next section. Now that we're here, we better equip that armor again. Then let's equip the harp string. So we're going to go to the southwest section of the town. And we'll talk to the singer up here. And say yes, so we got a B mash here. But now you can Y mash if you want. And right after this, go to the right of this guard and start holding left. Then you'll get that card that we need for the next section. You can step on it after the guard moves anytime, but just make sure you do that. And I just like to go to the left side here and just go straight north. And equip that card. We need it in order to get in. Once you do it once, you don't need to do it again. Then we're going to equip the power bracelet and go into this next section. Now here, if you want, you can be safe and just stand on this section here and go down half a tile facing left and just slash at the enemies and not take any damage. So they'll just attack from that area. You can also defeat some of these enemies down there for more experience, but also save a bit of processing work, because this game, this section, is also known as Leg Tower with all the enemies here. So you can see the system start to strain a little bit. These horse knights, they move like a chess piece, so they move, if you're playing the game of chess, 2 forward, 1 to the side. Just be careful, they can really hit you hard. But you can also take them out from a distance with light arrows. And we just go this way and defeat these. Again, if you want to use light arrows, feel free to do it. It will save you a little bit of effort. If you don't have enough gems, just take your time. And then just defeat those as you go as well. If you get to this point, you can release this layer and the layer to the right for a shortcut, otherwise you just walk around. This next section, you just need to defeat these enemies. If you want, you can be fancy and defeat some of those enemies in this next section with light arrows. Normally you would need to have a helper soul that would show you where this invisible passage is, but since we released this layer, it opened up for us. These red knights, if you stand diagonally adjacent to them, their boomerangs will go around you, so it's a good place to stand on those. And there's the queen. And thanks Overcast for the follow, I appreciate it. After that, just keep going up the steps. And if you want a little experience, you can defeat those puppets right there. Otherwise, you just need to defeat these enemies and then step on that layer. If you have a few more gems, if you want, you can use a little bit of light arrows to defeat them without them going any further. Now here's this very easy time save here. Start with the bottom left layer here. Instead of going top left versus, do the bottom left and then top left versus bottom left. You'll notice Dr. Leo said, I will save the story for later. If you have the other guard there, he will say the whole story. You don't want that. So doing it this way saves you about 5 seconds, as the Hulk and Elmagus found. There's the other soldier. Dr. Leo will spare us the story. And lastly, we need this one to continue forward. And again, a lot of this stuff is covered in the guide with those pictures and location markers to help you have good reference on this. And let's talk to the gem fairy, and yes, we want to go back. Next, we're going to go talk to the queen, who has the next item we need. In order to get it, when she asks us if she's pretty, we have to say yes. If you say no, don't worry, you can talk to her again and say yes. And we'll equip the VIP card. Nice golden card there. And then go back to that, and we should be high enough level to swing the spirit sword, so we're going to equip it. And now we're into right tower. I like to start walking there closer to the bottom to get those horses to try to jump that way, but it doesn't always work out that way. And defeat those puppets with light arrows. Got these blue knights, purple knights there. You like to, you can defeat them however you want. I just find kind of doing upward from this area goes pretty well. With these, the biggest detail with the red knights is just make sure you're attacking from a diagonally adjacent tile to avoid those. You can also kind of creep towards this area to stop those from shooting any further, but you get mixed results. And just defeat these two here. And then we'll have 4 of these horse knights. I like to use light arrows. There's a good setup you can do. I just didn't show it for now because, again, keeping things simple. And then we unlock this really cool guard, which in the randomizer community we call Bob the Builder. Because guess what he did? Now this layer here, just go line yourself up with it and go north. I'll get you to the next section. And then this next screen, pretty simple. We just walk around and go to the next spot. And I have that detailed in the guide as well, just to make it simpler. Now when you get to the spot, if you want, you can defeat some of these enemies for more experience. Because now these enemies are giving more significant experience towards the final grind. So doing so probably isn't a bad idea, but it's just not required. So with light arrows, we can defeat some of these enemies a little more creatively. These red knights. But just do whichever way you want. Just be safe with it. You might run out of gems like I did, but if you did, that's okay. Just kind of go as you do. They will not shoot or throw a boomerang until they stop completely. Now after here, you go right. You can save here if you want. Get yourself an herb if you need to. And save whatever you want. Either way, good safety spot. If you do it, only costs about 4 or 5 seconds during the run, so not bad to do. Next is the very long cutscene. This is going to be about a couple minutes. The Japanese version of this game is about a third of the time, since each letter on this takes 3 frames when it comes out. So it's like every 3 frames a letter will appear, and there's 60 frames a second. Japanese version, it's 1 frame for each letter that appears. So in that one, that's why if you look at the leaderboards, the Japanese version of this game is faster on any percent compared to the US one by 8 to 10 minutes. Just it makes that much of a difference. So, see Lisa's there. Neat thing here, just showing you. You can hold right. It's a very small time saving, but it's kind of fun. You can just hold right and then just mash B button. This is the only time in the game, one of the only times in the game that will let you actually do this. Because this is a type of cutscene where it just pays attention to the B button. It doesn't care about the Y or the directional button. So we're using that to our advantage here. So I can move on the first frame if you want. And then you can just talk to them right away. Nope, you just need to be on that tile. You can face away and move towards them and talk to them that way. Which is kind of funny, because then it's like you're talking to him with your button. When he says, "Lisa, please forgive me," that scene goes on its own. You do not need to press any buttons. So here can be a good place if you want to go save, because you don't want to have to do that cutscene again. But if you're confident, now you can go do the boss battle. And this is one of the bosses that is significantly different in some ways. I'm just showing on the guide here, like boss 5. The US version has 10 more hit points than the Japanese version. And so here, the boss has 99 hit points, while the Japanese version had 89. So that's not the extra content we wanted. Not bigger numbers. So we use that mobile key, we go to that steering wheel, and now we initiate the boss fight. So Demon Bird or Jerk Bird, whichever you want. So I'm going to, it has two patterns here. I try to move up here. You can see at the beginning of the battle, I moved right down to the spot where I'm at. Just level with that. Then equip the power bracelet. And then try to come up here as you go. These sideways attacks are going to be the best. Wow, this boss has been really, really kind. Normally I don't get that many swoop sideways ones in a row. Normally that's what we get. So try to get to the side and move upward and then go to defeat it. So that was a very, very nice boss. Normally I get a ton of swoops, so dang it, boss. What a jerk. Jerk Bird didn't give us a good learning experience. But either way, you try to, when it gets back up to that spot, you want to start moving upward and then kind of moving along with it to do the damage. It will only take 2 patterns going to the right, or horizontal patterns, if you got stuff set up pretty well. But the Japanese version, because it has 10 less hit points, only takes 1, so it's a faster boss fight there. We don't really have a good way of manipulating if it goes diagonal or across. It's tied to RNG, so I think the record for swoops is about 13. So biggest key on this one, just worry about surviving. If you need to go back and get an herb, you can use the herb that you have already and equip it that we got in the basement. And then just, we will want to have an herb for the World of Evil. So I would suggest, if you use the herb here, go back to Area 1 and grab another one. So there we talk to Lisa. Doesn't matter what we say, same result. And then we just head out. Then to finish things up, we're first going to go to where the Queen was standing, because that's where we're going to get a very, very good item called, it's not the invulnerable bracelet, it is the super bracelet. So it says this, but what it's actually doing is, when it says increased by 2, it's basically multiplied. So it's not the strength, and it halves the damage you take and it doubles the damage you give out. So thanks, translation. I might have looked at the code too much, so that's where I kind of found that out. And I think it's just other people found it out intuitively as well. And also from the findings of all the other ROM hackers out there. So really good stuff. So now we have all 6 of the stones. So very good stuff. Talk to the king. Now we can get out of here and go forth to the next area. We gotta stop by the shrine first. So there's area 6. A little bit of a challenging area, but with more practice, it'll go pretty well. So next time we'll do the World of Evil and the rest of the game. So thank you very much. See you next time.